as mentioned, my name's Kate. I was lucky enough to be a speaker as part of an international summit about 2 weeks ago called Everything Good is Possible. It was all based around disability advocacy, and we had people around the world speaking about different topics. This is a much, much more condensed speech, and I've chosen a couple of the main topics. Tonight I will be speaking about, as was mentioned, bridging the gap, which for me is disability services and representation from the regional to the cities, the differences between, and there are many. And we're trying to bridge that gap from 2026 onwards, hopefully. The topics that I want to briefly speak about tonight are representation, education, and medical services. We all use these services, and I'm passionate about trying to create awareness and improve the lives of people with a disability. Representation. To me, that's all about trying to see yourself and have a guide, I guess, in terms of maybe what you can see, what you might be able to see yourself doing in the future, and someone just to help you model yourself by. I lived in a small country town, Rutherglen, about 40 minutes away. For me, I didn't really see myself. I was the youngest by a long way that used a wheelchair. The only people I saw in my local community were people at Glenview, which is the retirement home. I didn't associate with that, I didn't see myself in that. As far as representation goes, the only other representation that I saw at the time was road traffic ads. Again, that wasn't me. I have had this disability since birth. It brought up the question of, where do I belong? What's my future hold? No one really knew the answer to that question, and it's been a lifelong journey to try and figure it out. So we've all heard the saying, you can't be what you can't be what you can't see. Therefore, for me, that was a huge challenge, both within the community but also emotionally. The bigger cities, they've got obviously a larger population. They've therefore got a lot more diversity within communities, and therefore more ideas get thrown around. There might be more services, awareness, and in some cases, not all, acceptance. I didn't have any opportunities for a job up until I moved to Albury 15 years ago when I lived in Rutherglen. They just weren't available. They were customer services jobs that my chair at the time just couldn't accommodate. Today, things are changing because of the advent of social media and the internet in general. Today we've got the opportunity where councils potentially can information share between each other, give their own experiences, and just share that information so that people within regional areas maybe not have the same opportunities as the cities, but as time goes on, with the ideas that are thrown around, get more opportunities, whether it be remote or within our communities. And I think that if we can start to work together, that is certainly one way that we can bridge the gap. On an individual level, I think, again, with the advent of social media, we can now see ourselves because we are seeing disability advocates, we are seeing actors, actresses, we're seeing writers, musicians, all these things that I certainly didn't see as a child, I'm now seeing, which creates a much more positive outlook on what I can potentially pursue in my life. I certainly didn't see myself doing disability advocacy work 5 years ago, and I think social media has 100% helped drive that because we are now more connected than ever. Education. We've all been through it, we've all got our stories. I was the first person to attend kindergarten, primary and high school in a wheelchair. I was lucky I had very strong advocates in my parents and my integration aides that fought for that inclusion, because due to fear and the world of the unknown, there was many staff that thought that I needed to be in the special school system. This is purely physical disability. Some may question that, but it literally is just physical, I promise. City schools, they seem to sometimes get more access to more funding, which creates more specialised school programs and training opportunities for the teachers, which therefore can create a more inclusive environment. I think country schools can benefit from potentially, again, information sharing, but a bit of a mentorship, so that all students, whether they be country and cities, can have similar, if not the same, opportunities whether they be disabled or not. Students also would benefit, because if they can't see themselves in their own community, they might be able to be social media buddies or email buddies with someone in the city that has the same life experience living with a disability, so therefore they won't feel as alone. They can also have the same opportunity of they can bounce off ideas and create friendships and networks, and at the end of the day, being at school, that's what we're all about. When we're talking about the medical side of things, again, we need to collaborate. It's the whole point of trying to bridge this gap. Being able to collaborate and have the people from the cities, we seem to have a much wider range of training opportunities, come together and create more of an awareness, so that there isn't things like misdiagnosis of an illness because they haven't seen it in a country area, which unfortunately for me has happened quite a few times. Because it becomes dangerous. And I think if we can create all of these collaborative ideas, we will be able to bridge that gap, and it becomes so small that it doesn't exist. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would be my utopian world.